Hey beautiful people, welcome back to another slow flow. This class is going to incorporate some slower asanas as well as pranayama and meditation. The focus for our class today is on this yogic concept called Avidyā. Now Avidyā translates to English from Sanskrit as incorrect comprehension or ignorance. And it's the opposite of vidya, which translates to knowledge. You can kind of imagine our consciousness like a mirror. And when you have a hot shower, this mirror fogs up and you can no longer see the correct version of yourself. So Avidyā is just like this fog, but more within it fogs up our purusha, our deep self that is non-attached to anything that happens externally. It is super still and it is always there. And so one of our goals within our yoga practice is to unfog this consciousness of ourselves so that we can act from that deeper place within, from our purusha, so we have that integrity. We're going to get started in a sukhasana, a cross-legged position. Now, if you have a block with you, you might like to sit up onto this. If not, that's no worries at all. This is just an option. Just trying to sit up tall through the spine, letting the knees drop down towards the ground, and then finding a place with the hands that feels comfortable. So maybe that's hands in the lap, that might be hands by your thighs. See if you can turn the palms up so we broaden across the collarbones. And just starting to take a few breaths here. Closing down the eyes. Settling the within. And just reminding ourselves that our asana practice allows our body to be warm. It allows us to bring some focus, some intention into our more subtler energies, so our mind space and our heart space. Our pranayama, or our breath work, allows us to expand that energy, to keep focusing within. And our meditation allows us to have a play with finding that stillness. It's always a practice. It's never going to look perfect. To begin our practice, we're going to have a breath work. A breath that you inhale for 4, you hold at the top for 8, and then you exhale for 4, and then you repeat that. So the inhale and exhale, quite strong, quite powerful. But that long inhalation at the top, that's going to get pretty uncomfortable. Okay, we're building up toxins within the body, we're building up carbon dioxide. So we're sitting in this uncomfortableness, and then as we exhale, just that we've got that strong release of that. We'll practice this about 6 times. So let's all exhale fully. Then breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale fully 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Soften shoulders. 2, 1. Exhale 4, fully. 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3. Fill up the diaphragm. 2. The ribs, the chest. 1. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5. Embrace the discomfort. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more times in your own breath. And once you've completed your last breath, we will return back to neutral breath, so even inhalations and exhalations. If you didn't find your 3-part breath within that pranayama practice, can you find it now? So breathing in through the diaphragm, the ribs, and the chest. Using this as an anchor to our present moment. And then when you're ready, just lifting the hips, sliding the block off. If you have it, we're going to start to move. So find your tabletop position. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Use your next breath in to drop the belly. Lift the eye gaze. Can you draw the shoulder blades back? And then as you exhale, press through the hands round through the upper back, belly button into the spine. A few more times here. Using your own breath. Maybe you close down your eyes. And feel free to shift your eye gaze from side to side as well. You can make this into some circles with the ribs. Tuning in with your body, your breath. Letting it guide you, not trying to think about it too much. And another goal of our practice is to get out of our heads and into our body. Find your way back through a neutral spine. Take a big breath in as you step both of your hands forward. And then as you exhale, can you sink your heart space down towards the ground into your puppy pose? So your hips are over your knees. The chest is diving down. The belly button is trying to pull towards the thighs. If you've got space here, you might try to bring the eye gaze up in between your hands. But if you feel any sort of pressure through the spine or through the neck, please let this go. Think about drawing the armpits towards the ground and away from each other, so we broaden through the upper back. Can you press through your fingertips, maybe even walking your fingertips a little bit further up? Let's take a couple more breaths here. Take one more big breath. Maybe even an exhale out of the mouth. Start to walk the hands back towards the knees. Find your way into a balasana. But then keep reaching your hands behind you. Start to bring your hands towards the outsides of the ankles, or if you're feeling quite tight, then maybe up towards the shins. Use your next breath in to lift the hips off the heels. Draw the chin in towards the chest. Crown of the head reaches towards the ground. Now you're trying to pull away from your feet or your shins, rounding through the upper back. Draw the belly button into the spine, so we're curling through the spine as much as we can. Let's try take 3 to 5 more breaths here, but make this active. So actively protracting the shoulder blades away from each other. And then when you're ready, dropping the hips down towards the heels. Reach the hands back forward. Use your next breath in. Roll yourself through your spine. Start to bend the elbows and lower yourself down towards your belly. Extend your right arm out towards the side to a T, or if you're low on space, then maybe a cactus arm. Draw the left toes high, left hand towards the ribs, and then start to press yourself open towards the right. So that left knee is opening as far away from your body as you can. Option here to take the left hand behind the back, and that's just going to encourage that left shoulder to open more for a bigger twist and chest opener here. If this is feeling quite intense for the chest, you could always walk the hand up so it's reaching towards the top of the mat and the air rests on the biceps. If you wanted a little bit more, you could bend the elbows to find that cactus arm. Try take 2 more breaths here. Diving deeper into the consciousness of ourselves, finding our awareness. When you're ready, come back through center. We're going to bring hands towards either sides of the ribs, press up into a plank position, then draw the left foot outside the left hand. See if you can soften the hips towards the ground, finding a kneeling lunge position. Now, a couple of options here. You can just stay on your hands. If you have space, you might be able to drop 1 elbow down, maybe 2 elbows. If you're somewhere halfway, you could bring a block down. See if you can perhaps draw the hips from side to side. One final option here, just to change up the focus slightly, is to keep peeling that left knee away from you and then draw the left inner arch up. So finding a bit more of a stretch through the glute medius, the side of the hips. Can you keep trying to sink the hips towards your mat? Let's try 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, just bringing the foot back down towards the ground, come up onto your hands if you are on your elbows. Hands come towards the edges of the mat, spread the fingertips wide, tuck onto the right toes, and then send your left foot back into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, your downward facing dog. Take a little pedal out of your feet here, with your feet here, drawing one heel down, drawing the other heel down. Keep trying to tip the pelvis forward. So imagine like you had a bucket of water in your pelvis. You're trying to let it all out. Press away from the ground with your hands. And then use your next breath in. Let's walk towards the top of the mat. You can bring your feet hip width distance or bring the big toes together and heels slightly apart. Invite the chin towards the chest to lengthen down the back of the spine. Again, you might find some movement here. We will be practicing a couple of inversions. This in itself is an inversion. So head below the heart. Down dog is an inversion, and that just encourages the blood to come towards the head. It's not often that we see ourselves in these positions throughout the day. And then bring the hands towards the shins. Take a big breath and lift yourself up halfway. And then as you exhale, fold yourself down again. Inhale to rise, lifting the arms, lifting the eye gaze, drawing the shoulder blades back. Squeeze the glutes. As you exhale, bring the hands by your sides, Tadasana. Inhale to lift again. Maybe baby back bend if that feels good. And then as you exhale, bend the knees, tip it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, press the hands down, sit back into your plank position, chaturanga, come all the way down to your belly. This time take the left hand out towards the side, right hand by the rib, right toes turn high, big breath in. And then as we exhale, press through the right hand and then take that right foot behind that left thigh. Draw the right knee away from you so you're encouraging the openness through the hips as well. Maybe that right hand comes behind the hips. As always, modify as you need to make this asana feel good in your body. And just reimagine your mirror here. And see with every breath, You can draw yourself closer and closer to your inner self by gently wiping away any of that fog. It comes with consistency and practice, and often once you're not even going to notice that avidya is gone or is lessened. It is subtle. Take 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, coming back through center, bring the hands by the ribs, press up onto your knees, then take your right foot outside your right hand. Little shift from side to side, dropping the hips down. Option to stay up if you would like to make your way down a little bit further. If that feels accessible to you, you can always use a block as well. Final option as well is to lift up the inner arch of the right foot and draw the right knee out. And just keep noticing if any tension arises, perhaps physically or mentally, emotionally, acknowledging it for what it is, how it feels, knowing that you can let this go at any point if you feel like this doesn't serve you. When you're ready, let's draw the right foot back to the ground, come up onto your hands, tuck onto the left toes, and then send your hips up and back again into your downward facing dog. Spread the fingertips wide, lifting the hips, pressing away with the hands to draw the weight further back into the legs. Use your next breath in to walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. As you exhale, fold yourself forward again here. This time we go straight into our halfway lift. Maybe you lift the eye gaze here slightly. And then as you exhale, fold yourself forward, drawing yourself closer into you. Inhale to rise, sweep the arms up and over, feeling that extension through the spine. And then as you exhale, hands by the sides, Tadasana. Let's rebound and lift, inhaling. And then as you exhale, bend the knees and tip yourself forward. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, hands come down, step back into your plank position. We're going to go straight into our chaturanga. This time come halfway as an option. Inhaling baby cobra or upward facing dog. Draw the shoulder blades back. And then as you exhale, come back into your downward facing dog. Soften the knees here. We're going to go through just a very few standing postures. And then we'll slow things down again. See if you can sweep the right toes higher on your in-breath. Draw the right hip down here. And then as you exhale, roll yourself forward. Draw the right knee into the nose. Set the right foot in between the hands. Inhale to rise, high lunge. Sweeping the arms up and over, right knee is bent. As you exhale, just deepen into your hips here. Imagine your left thigh was trying to touch the sky above you. Let's take a couple more breaths. Can you draw the ribs close towards the hips, but keeping that openness through the chest, through the shoulders? Can you bring some more energy into your fingertips here? So keep reaching away while also feeling the groundedness through your feet. Can you use your next in-breath to open towards the left side of your mat, placing the left heel down, opening the arms wide into your Virabhadrasana 2. So right knee presses out over the toes, but keep revolving that left hip, left shoulder back. Let's start to flip the right palm. Big breath in as you reverse your warrior. So left hand comes down the left thigh, right hand comes up and over. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, but keep bending low into that right knee. Use your next breath in to stay low. Draw the right elbow towards the right thigh. Left hand comes up and over, Utthita Pajwakanasana. Option here to extend the right hand down a little bit further. Can you revolve that left shoulder back? Engage through the core. Take 2 more breaths in this position. So feeling very strong in our warrior position. Use your next breath in, come back through center, turn both toes in. As you exhale, folding yourself forward into your Prasarita Padottanasana. Maybe a little shift from side to side here to open through the adductors. Hands might come around opposite feet. You might walk the hands behind you. Again, you're trying to imagine that bucket of water and trying to tip it out. And that's going to lengthen through the hamstrings, lengthen through the spine. Again, another inversion here. Feeling all that goodness, all that blood coming into the head. One more breath. And then when you're ready, just walking back towards the top of your mat, frame out your right foot, lift up the right knee, and then slide it towards your right wrist. We're finding our way into our pigeon pose. All right, so right foot might be a little bit closer, right foot might be a little bit further away. Take a big breath in, try square the hips here. And then as you exhale, walking yourself forward if that feels comfortable. You can also use your block here if you needed a bit more space to bring your elbows to. One final option with this variation is to try and thread the left hand towards the right to find a subtle twist. That's going to try pull that left hip down. If you wanted a little bit more, if you're feeling pretty open today, you might try take your right hand and see if you can bind it towards either the left hip, maybe it reaches towards the right foot. Slowing down your breath. Especially if you're feeling quite a few sensations right now, just try to breathe through it. Option to stay here if this feels really juicy and nourishing. Option to come up, keeping with the pigeon position. You can start to lift the left foot, maybe the left hand reaches. See if you can lift yourself up a little bit higher here. So your right hand might reach behind you or in front of you or towards the side of you. Maybe that left foot comes towards the left elbow. So we're encouraging an open chest here. Can you try pull that left shoulder, left hip forward a little bit more? Draw the shoulder blades back. Let's try one more breath. And then when you're ready, just bringing the left foot down towards the ground, place the hands towards the ground again, tuck onto the left toes and send yourself back into your downward facing dog. Little pedal out of the feet here again, so drawing one heel down, drawing the other heel down. And when you're ready, we're going to go straight onto the other side. So use your next breath in, sweep the left toes high, three-legged dog, draw the left hip down, press away with your hands. Exhale, roll yourself forward, left knee into the nose, press through the hands, and then tap the left foot down. Big breath in, sweep both hands high, high lunge. As you exhale, just deepening into the hips, pressing that right heel away, drawing the belly button in slightly, so we're engaging through the core. And see if we can find that openness through the chest. Might even like to try take a little baby back bend here. Let's try one more breath. And then when you're ready, placing the right heel down, opening towards the side of the mat. Arms reach wide into your Virabhadrasana. Draw the shoulders back. Keep that left knee bent slightly. Use your next breath in, try flip that left hand, reverse your warrior. So right hand comes down the right thigh, left hand comes up and over. Try draw an energy up through that right leg, so you're engaging through the right quadricep. Next breath in, reaching forward, drawing the left elbow towards the left thigh, right hand comes up and over. Roll that right shoulder back, left shoulder underneath. If you'd like to, you could take this down a little bit further. The block is also there at any point if you needed that extra help. Try to take one more breath here. use your next breath in, come back through center, draw the toes in. Option here to take the hands behind the back. And then as you exhale, draw the knuckles towards the side of the mat, tipping yourself forward into your Prasarita Padottanasana. So you can imagine like you're using your hands, your arms as a lever to dive your heart space a little bit deeper. Press the palms together if you have this, or see if you can press your palms together, and that's just going to encourage the shoulders to open just a little bit more. Let's try one more breath here. And then when you're ready, just releasing the hands towards the ground. See if you can walk yourself towards the top of the mat again. We're going to find our way into our pigeon pose. So press through the hands, lift yourself up, draw the left knee down towards your left wrist. Walk yourself back. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, just walking yourself forward. Maybe resting the head down onto the forearms if that feels accessible. You're trying to draw the right hip down slightly. Final option here, if you would like it, is to take a twist by sweeping the right hand towards the left side, dropping the right shoulder. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you take the left hand up and over the back. And just keep noticing your breath, reminding ourselves it is an anchor for us to be more present with ourselves. If we stop breathing or our breaths become quite shallow, it's an indication that perhaps we have lost our attention to somewhere else. And so we keep encouraging ourselves to be intentional with our breathing. If this feels really good, maybe you stay down here, or you could press back up towards your hands. If you wanted to try find a quadricep stretch, maybe you take the right foot towards the right glute. Take the right hand around to pull yourself a little bit closer. So you keep encouraging the openness of our chest here. So you might walk yourself back slightly. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, we're actually just going to slide ourselves onto our left hip. Then draw the right foot in. Bring the soles of the feet together, take the knees wide. Hands might come around the ankles or the insides of the feet. Can you try take a big breath in here to lift up tall? And then as you exhale, pull yourself just a little bit more forward into your Baddha Konasana. Feel free to bring a block underneath your hips if you feel like you need a bit more space. You can also take your feet a little bit further away from you. If the elbows meet the thighs, can you encourage them to press down and open? Let's try one more breath here. When you're ready, just coming back through center, we're going to take our right foot and flip it around. So we're making two triangles with the knees. Take a big breath and try lift up tall here. As you exhale, can you twist yourself towards the left? Maybe the right hand comes around to the left thigh. Turning yourself. Option here is to see if your left hand can meet maybe the right hip. You could also try reach towards your right foot. So you might need to slide that right foot in slightly for it to be in reach. Take one more breath here. When you're ready, just come back through center. This time we're going to extend both of the legs out long. Draw the toes close towards you. Big breath and lift up tall. As you exhale, walk yourself forward into your Paschimottanasana, your forward fold. Stretch of the wrist. Keep using your in-breath to lift yourself up and lengthen through the spine. Maybe even lift the eye gaze slightly. As you exhale, just encouraging yourself to pull yourself a little bit deeper. Not using, we're not forcing ourselves into any positions that our body doesn't want to go into. We're encouraging, inviting, but also accepting that threshold where it may feel discomfort, but we don't want it to feel painful. One more breath. Maybe you can pull your toes back a little bit more. When you're ready, lift yourself up, draw the right knee towards the right. Left knee comes in, big breath in, lift up tall. As you exhale, left hand comes around the right thigh, maybe the right fingertips come just land behind you. If you wanted to try a bind here, you could try take the right hand towards the left hip. Maybe that right hand reaches towards the left foot. If any of these options feel quite strong, you can also just slide the left knee up a little bit more to stack closer towards the right knee. When you're ready, come back through center. We're going to head down towards the ground. So rolling yourself down, knowing that we are very close to finishing our asana practice. See if you can draw the knees towards the chest. That's a little rock from side to side, feels good here. And then start to extend the legs up towards the ceiling to find, sorry, there was a bug, to find a waterfall pose. That is what this is called. You can definitely stay here. If you wanted to try your Salamba Savangasana, your supported shoulder stand, start by pressing your hands into the ground to lift your hips up. Now you can start by finding a little bit of a lean with your feet behind your head. As you feel more comfortable, you might bring your hands towards your lower back and then start to lift the feet up towards the sky, drawing the belly button into the spine, squeezing the glutes to find that engagement. You might even walk your elbows in a little bit more. As you feel more comfortable, you might walk your hands down your back a little bit more. We'll stay here for another 5 or so breaths. This is another example of our inversion. Often it brings some really good feelings afterwards, really good sensations. Not having any expectation though, just feeling into it, tuning into it. And then when you're ready, you don't have to be ready, you can stay in this for as long as you can. If there are any other asanas you want to perform here, maybe your halasana or your knees by the ears, go for it. Otherwise, just slowly roll down your spine. If there are any other asanas that you'd like to perform here, maybe a happy baby, maybe another twist, go for it. If you're ready to rest, let's extend the legs out long. Palms facing up. We'll be here just for a couple of minutes. And then we will have the option to find our way back into a Sukhasana or a seat to practice another form of Pranayama. And then we'll finish with either lying down supine meditation or a seated meditation, up to you. But just for the moment, close down the eyes. And soften the eyebrows, the eyelids, the jaw. Feeling the whole of the back body relax into the ground beneath you. and just giving permission for yourself to slowly descend into stillness. Option to stay here if this feels more comfortable for you. If you wanted to head up into a seat to finish out our practice, then just begin to start to move slowly back up into a seat. If you started with the block underneath you, maybe you find that block again. Find that tall spine, the close of the eyelids. We're going to flip the pranayama practice slightly that we did at the beginning, so that we're breathing in for 4 counts, but then we exhale for 4 counts and then hold at the bottom for 8 counts. So that longer exhalation, that longer retention at the bottom of our exhale just encourages us to relax, be more deep, feel more grounded. Let's take one more breath here. When you're ready, breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more rounds in your own time. Once you finish your 2 rounds, back to normal breath. We will sit here for just another minute or so to finish out our practice. If you've noticed that your thoughts have floated away, keep encouraging them to come back. If you have space, I would highly encourage you to just sit in this meditation for longer. If you are ready to come out, bring some movement back into the body. Starting to take some deeper breaths. If you are down on your back, just rolling yourself back up into a seat really smoothly and gently, not trying to disturb any of the stillness that we've cultivated. And just reminding ourselves that one of the goals of our yoga practice is to remove this avidya so that we can be more clear, we can have more integrity when we act. So we come from a place of truthfulness from our deep self, and we're not as influenced by external subjects that can change at any point. Let's bring the hands to heart center. Bowing our head in gratitude and honor of this practice of yoga. I thank you so much for moving with me with breathing, for breathing with me. I hope to see you again sometime soon. And yeah, namaste.